All right, so we've got our trench dug.
Right.
We've got our base rock in and tamped and level.
Right.
Ready to start building our wall.
Right.
Now we decided with this wall that we're going to go about seating height, so about 20 inches.
Right.
How high can the Roman stack stone go?
Roman stacks 2 feet.
Okay.
Is what we recommend on the max.
And how high, I mean, what's the highest wall you can build?
Well, it varies on the wall product. Generally speaking, and each county and city varies a little bit, but 4 feet is the max you can do yourself without a permit, and then that means engineering.
Okay.
Soil samples, and an engineer's got to get involved, and then there's got to be stamped drawings and all that type of thing.
So essentially the tallest wall you can build on your own is about 4 feet.
Generally speaking, yeah.
All right.
We have a program actually, it's 8 foot and under with one of our wall products that you can do. You can still do the wall yourself. You send a soil sample in, take pictures of your site, and an engineer will give you a stamp certification, tell you how big your footing needs to be and what kind of reinforcement you may need, and then you can take that in and get a permit.
Great. All right, so again, we're all ready to go here. How do we know where to start?
Well, we want to start at the lowest point.
Okay, and how do you know where that is?
Well, you use your level, you use your string line.
Okay.
And then, you know, obviously visually take a look at your yard. But that's going to be back behind us. And we're going to spend, this is where you spend a little extra time on the project to make sure that the finished product is going to look right. So we got the gravel, our base in and tamped, and we made sure that's level, so it'll make it easier on us when we're doing our base course. And we're going to place each stone down, we're going to level it front to back, side to side, and then once we get that done, and then it's just stacking block and the fun begins.
Okay. Now when we're stacking the block, we're starting at the front of the trench?
Right.
Okay.
Right.
All right, well, let's get started then.
You bet.
All right, so we're going to put our first block down.
Yeah, we're going to put a first block down, back a little bit farther, okay? And now what we want to do is, because of this center lug, we've got some cheater sticks here that we're going to use so we can use our little torpedo level, front to back, and then side to side. So obviously we've got a little bit of adjustment to do, and with this, we can just kind of work it into the gravel.
Okay.
That looks good there. There, we're a little high on the right-hand side, so we can take our mallet and give it a few whacks. A little bit more. Until we get it level, and then we can put our next block in. We're going to work that in. Get it level, so we want it level across here. Again, front to back, and then side to side. And we're going to continue that on all the way down.
And because we're doing a pattern, we're alternating the 8-inch and the 12-inch block here as we go along.
Right. And again, this is where all your work in leveling the gravel, your foundation, will make it easier in leveling your base course. But once you spend that extra time making sure each block is level front to back and side to side, it'll make your project come out a lot better. Okay, so once we kind of have our base course in and level, then we can just stack block. Right, that's when the fun begins.
All right, so now that we have our base course down, the next step is just to lay the rest of the block.
Right, and this is really the easy part. We're just stacking up, although we do have to put some thought in. A Roman stack, we're using the different sizes. There's 3 different sizes to give us a random look in the wall, okay? So we've got to kind of consider that. And we do a lot of that work for you by giving you different choices, different blends of the different sizes for different heights and lengths of wall. We have those online. So we do all that thinking for you, if you will. But so now, yeah, we've kind of figured out our pattern, and we just need to stack the wall.
Great, let's do it. All right, when your block aren't exactly the right size, what do you do then?
Well, you're going to have to cut.
Okay.
And when you're doing a retaining wall, you're going to need halves, because each course, as we talked about earlier, is going to be offset and split between the seam and the next one. Okay, so You'll need halves, and then Roman stack, we had to have some filler pieces. So 3 ways to cut. Egyptian method,
Sure.
Not my favorite way of doing it, but it's a good way if you only have a few cuts. Hammer and chisel. We have a guillotine here, which is a little bit easier, and we do rent these. And then my favorite is the wet saw, and that is the easiest way to do it.
Sure. All right, so part of this wall we decided to do a step.
Right.
So let's talk about the process that you need to do to make that happen.
Right, and we have there's several different options and several different ways we can accomplish it. But here what we've done is, what's great is Roman stack has a 90-degree corner. So we're able to turn the wall at a 90 degree, and what we do is alternate them. So we've got a corner here, and then this corner, the next course goes back this way.
So you keep the pattern.
Right, so you're keeping your pattern. One hint is that this block right back here, this stone would be a cap. It's just easier to put these on top, and you don't have that lug to fight and chip off.
Okay, and so for our steps, we've chosen a coping unit, kind of as our stair tread.
Right, and they work perfect. They're 12 inches deep, which is a perfect size for a step, and they're 2 3/4 tall and 24 inches long. And here we've cut one in half, so we've got a 3-foot step. We've continued our base course here, and then the coping unit sits right on top. Here we've decided to use an 8-inch by 8-inch jumbo, and again you backfill this with base rock, compact it, put your jumbos or whatever stone you're going to use back here, and then again you stack your coping.
All right, and then we're going to alternate, since we're doing a half-size one and a full-size one, we're going to alternate every other.
Right, we want the factory cut over here, the split in front, which is what we've done here, and then you've got the slot in back to receive on that lug. And it's just a matter of stacking it in place. Now these also, you'd probably want to glue. So once we get the next step built and we get this section of wall done, we'll come back in with our glue that we use for the cap and glue our coping units down so our steps don't move.
Right, and then on the other side we just do the corner units again and then continue on with our wall.
That's it.
All right. So when you're backfilling behind a retaining wall, is there anything specific you need to do?
Right. One consideration is how much water is going to be coming off the bank. So if there's going to be a lot of water coming down, we need to take that water out away from the base of the wall. And we're going to use a 3-inch perforated drain pipe, plastic drain pipe. You get that at any home improvement store. That needs to lay along the top of your footing. And then there's also a filter cloth. We don't want dirt leaching through the front of your wall, and you also don't want dirt leaching from and coming into your drain rock and clogging that all up.
Okay.
All right? So this is a filter cloth, and then it will go down alongside the wall. The drain pipe will fit on top of it, and then it'll come up along the dirt bank, and then the drain rock will fit inside.
Do you have to do this for every wall?
You know, the drain pipe, no. Again, it all depends on how moisture, but we do recommend 3/4 inch drain rock along the back.
Okay, great. Well, let's put it in.
You bet.
So once we have all these down, next step is to do our cap, correct?
Right, and typically you wouldn't have to glue your cap down, but because the folks that own this yard are going to be using this as a seating area, entertainment area, that we're going to, we suggest that you glue it down. So it's a concrete adhesive, a 1/2 inch bead either side of the block, works perfect.
How long does it take to dry?
Overnight, typically.
And then you're just ready to go and you can use it as a seating wall.
You
all
bet.
right, well, let's continue on with the wall.
You got it.
All right, well, in less than 1 day, with a little help from our friends, we're able to put a beautiful new retaining wall in.
That's right. You completely change the look of the backyard. You increase your property value, and all doing it yourself, saving money.
Excellent. Well, I guess now all that's left to do is enjoy it with some friends.
That's right.